A couple of key business groups are calling for the government to rethink its renewable energy target. Will it do it? Will it get to that 82% by 2030? Let's get some thoughts now from Chris O'Keefe, former broadcaster journalist, now a spokesperson for the Clean Energy Council. Chris, great to see you, mate. What did you make of the Chamber of Commerce today, following on from some grocery representatives earlier in the week? They're saying the government needs to rethink on renewables and the target. It's too ambitious.
G'day, Kieran. Well, thanks for having me. Look, I just think the path that we're on is the most sensible path forward for Australia. We're close to 50% when it comes to our renewable penetration in the Australian energy market as it stands at the moment. So we're pretty well halfway there. And in my mind and any scientist's mind and the industry's mind, it makes sense just to keep going, because ultimately we can talk about gas, and yes, there will be some gas in the system without a shadow of a doubt. But some of these coal-fired power stations, they are very old. They're a bit like old cars, right? The more money you throw at them, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be any more reliable. And we've got the Gen Cost report from the CSIRO spelling it out in black and white. Renewable energy is by far and away the cheapest form of energy we can generate in Australia at the moment, and it's certainly better than the alternatives.
One of the arguments that's being made by industry groups and others is that there needs to be more dispatchable power, that we need reliable power for when there are moments when the wind doesn't blow and the sun's not shining, Chris.
Yeah, and that's where batteries will come into play, and so too will peaking gas plants. And if you want to think of Australia's electricity grid a little bit like a plug-in hybrid car, it will be largely powered by renewables, storage, pumped hydro, until you need a bit of gas. Now, there's no getting away around the fact that we will need gas in the system, but gas is extraordinarily expensive, and you only need to see what happened to the gas price when Putin invaded Ukraine. It skyrocketed. Now, if we can have more renewable generation in Australia, that ensures that we've got a situation where we insulate ourselves from conflicts on the other side of the world. And, you know, as a patriotic Australian, as you are, Kieran, I think that that is a good move forward. And I just think the idea of having base load gas or throwing more money at coal-fired power stations to get them beyond their retirement life is just throwing good money after bad, and we've just got to be really careful of that.
Is it an argument, though, potentially, as the coalition is saying, that you could do that as an interim at least until baseload nuclear is achieved?
Well, you've got to wait 15 years at least, and the truth of the matter is nuclear is too far away, it's too expensive, and it will generate too little electricity, and that's where we're at the moment. If you've got 15 years until, at best, until a nuclear reactor comes online in this country, what are we going to do in the interim? And you say an interim measure is, well, burn effectively base load gas. Well, the cost of gas is tied to the international market. We pay international prices here in Australia for gas. Now, that is a hell of a lot more expensive than solar or wind or storage solutions that we currently have. If we want the cheapest power bills for Australian families, Australian businesses, Australian manufacturers, the jury's in. It's clearly the right way to go.
Is there the development, though, and I know there is a question mark over this, and as you obviously are well aware of too, just the speed with which technology is making gains on storage, because it's that one of those key missing links. The storage capacity, say, to run a major city grid, it's not there yet. Is it getting there?
It is getting there, and the more we build, the better off we'll be. I know Donald Trump says dig, baby, dig. Well, I say build, baby, build here in Australia, and that is building clean energy projects. And I think, too, we have to understand that there is certainly a place for the massive amounts of rooftop solar that we generate in this country to be stored on the side of families' homes. And I know that both the major parties do have subsidy programs, or at least looking at subsidy programs for household batteries to make them more affordable for people. And I think we need to get away from the idea of base load power. And if we have a footy team or a soccer team or an AFL team, whatever it may be, there's a whole bunch of players on that team. Each has a role to play in the success of the energy grid. And, you know,
Chris
if we're looking...
Thank you so much.